It's time for the end of Pokemon Emerald. Fighting Stevan.
Hello everyone, I am Third.
Hey, you do you, bro.
Last time, we explored the Battle Frontier, which is the final thing that I wanted to do before ending off this Let's Play. However,
not counting showing off the Lily Cove thing for leftovers.
Region that has not yet been defeated, who we
not counting the Battle Frontier.
Truly want to call ourselves the strongest in the region.
Red. Wait, wrong region.
Hiding out in Meteor Falls, just south of Fall Arbor Town. So let's head there right now. Really? What would a Pokemon game be without random annoying encounters? But I've got to say, this was the first Pokemon game that I decided to take on my channel, and I am so glad that I did. It turned out to be one of the most fun experiences that I've had with a Let's Play so far. And you guys being involved with it made it all that much better. You guys crafted like half of this team and gave me awesome nickname suggestions and all of that kind of stuff, and I'm so glad.
One to Ashley, and Ashley's in existence.
And honestly, Pokemon Emerald was super, super fun. So let's definitely go out with a bang in this episode.
And I brought Vulpix for the finale.
Entered Meteor Falls, and this is a very, very, I want to say it's a fitting location for a final battle, but only on some levels. It's definitely a magical place, and definitely a daunting and imposing one.
It's like the Rainbow Ruins thing from an old Disneyland thing.
I think
it was shut down.
Is a proper place to end off the Let's
Play. It's like Rainbow Rocks or something. I don't remember the name. And I just know there was Rainbow Falls or something like that. I don't remember.
What was it? Dive, which I had on her before because she's not going.
Dive is useless anyway. Probably had to go to the move deleter for that.
She has, and yeah, you go through all kinds. of
now you get to finish up. Use your favorite move.
It's a bit of an obscure location, the final battle of Pokemon Emerald. But I think it fits this final character quite well. Now we go through here, and this is the room that contains the final battle. But I have to note real quick, if you are playing on a normal Game Boy Advance cartridge, make sure you save right now, because this battle is incredibly difficult. In fact, it's so difficult that I busted my butt to level up our team like 10 or 12
You didn't do that for the Frontier!
And they are still not nearly strong enough, or as strong as they're supposed to be at this point. We're still like 20 levels under leveled. You can see that we're approaching level 60 with a lot of these guys. Now, let's have one last look at the team before we end off the game. Shock the naive Manectric, who might be a little shy in social situations, but will definitely mess you up if you look at her the wrong way. Still has
attacker considering static.
Heretic the Heracross, now level 54, has learned the move Mega Horn, the move that I've been talking about all this time. 120 power, 85 accuracy, which we're finally going to get to show off in the very last episode of this game, and I'm super.
And according to the anime, is the most powerful Pokemon attack, according to Ash versus Gary.
100%
when Heracross fought Magmar.
I'm glad that you did, because I love having this thing on my team.
They didn't meant to say most powerful bug type attack, at least at the time, but whoops.
Who served us from nearly the beginning. The one and only Baconator the Grumpig, with the same moveset, who is dancing and ready to go. And finally, Dishwater, who's been there since the very beginning. I can't believe we raised this thing from a tiny, cute little mudkip, because Earthquake, Blizzard, Surf.
It's always how you tend to feel like towards the ending.
Is ready to end off
it was like that sweet little moment of Pokemon Origins when they were playing Mewtwo, and Fred remembers when Charizard was just a mere Charmander, and now it's a Mega Evolved Charizard.
Of the Hoenn region, which is Steven Stone.
Yep. And this guy is to me, is still one of the better Pokemon champions. Like, I prefer Steven over Cynthia personally, all that stuff. Cynthia's hard and all that, but Steven just has that, you know,
very good idea about how good I am.
You know,
okay, Brian.
Nostalgia, that's the word.
Challenge, expect the worst.
My red and all that
jazz. The final battle, the super boss of Pokemon Emerald, is Steven Stone, who has such a high opinion of himself, even though he didn't know that it was the Moss Deep Space Center.
Shame we didn't give him his own, you know,
and Sootopolis doesn't
theme.
Even have a space center. How could you forget something like that?
Whoops.
But he is an incredibly powerful player, being the former champion of the Hoenn region, or at least the champion in Ruby and Sapphire. He is going to lead off with an incredibly.
And this is where my Blaziken was king. Unless it was a girl, in which case she was queen.
It is weak
Steel Wing.
Fire and Electric. Okay, it's going for Steel Wing. Didn't expect
Mix
that.
it up a bit.
What? I'll take it. I will take the lack of spikes on the field.
kind of defense
It's weak
boost,
to
but
electric and
that doesn't
fire,
matter
so
because we're
lead
using
off with a
special
Pokemon
attack.
with one of those, especially since it doesn't have the best
First
special
down.
defense in the world. But Steven is the final battle of Pokemon Emerald, and I'm so glad they kept him in here in one way or another. I think I preferred him as the champion because having the champion be someone who followed us,
Aggron,
and us, and helped us grow along our
Steel
journey,
Rock
is a lot more personal than Wallace, who sort of wasn't there the entire journey. But either way, he's going to switch into his Aggron now, which is a very powerful Pokemon, but it has a couple interesting moves. It's got Thunder on it, and it's got Solar Beam. So if I send out Dishwater, it's going to start charging up a Solar Beam, is my prediction. I think with our Soft Sand and our higher attack stat, Earthquake is going to be stronger than Surf, so let's do
going
that.
for Solar Beam.
Aggron is taking in Sunlight just as I expected, and now we're going to Earthquake.
Should be
with
quad
Dishwater.
weak.
So how much can you do to him? Let's see. This thing is 4 times weak to
No!
ground. It's a defensive
The Solar
monster,
Beam.
so it's still going to live that. And with that, we can switch out to Swellowship, whose primary role in this battle is not going to be Death Water, but is going to be as a barrier, because this Aggron is going to use Solar Beam, and Swellowship is going to resist that like it isn't nothing.
Yeah, but it's also...
Man,
Oh!
look at that.
I
Not
thought the
even
20 level
half of our
difference
health
would
is gone
make
from
it...
that.
Well,
This mighty
difference.
Aggron. Now, there are two
You
things
can switch
that
to
can happen.
Swampert
It's
and
going
with
to
Solar
either go for
Beam.
Thunder to try to kill Swellowship, or Steven's going to use a Full Restore. Either
Or
way,
if
we
it
can
charges for
switch back
Solar
into Dishwater
Beam.
for free and not take any damage for it. So, let's see. What are you going to do, Steven? What do you got under your belt? Yep.
Full Restore.
He's going for the Full Restore. And man, you would think that the strongest Pokemon trainer in the Hoenn region wouldn't resort to using items on some random kid that he saw running around. Well, I guess we technically are the champion now, so we're not just a random kid anymore, but you would think that he wouldn't resort
to get the
using
RNG
items
bonus.
so heavily. So, he charged up some.
Yeah, it was less this time, I think.
Wash, rinse, and repeat with this strategy, which is actually very, very helpful. So Swellowship
we're running out of Full
ends up
Restores.
playing a key role in this battle because Steven has got 3. Count them.
If
1,
only
2,
Swellowship had
3
Intimidate.
Full Restores to use on you. Or on his Pokemon, rather. But
By the way, it's surprised there's no
super
Intimidate
annoying
version for,
because
like,
in the
special
meantime,
attack or
he's got
defense
super
or
powerful
special
Pokemon
defense
later
or that
on
stuff.
that
I'm
if
just
you
surprised it
status
doesn't
them,
exist
they
yet.
just get cured by
Maybe in
Full
Gen
Restore.
8.
So, having him use all of his items this early in the battle
Dragon
is
Claw.
such a good tactic and such a helpful one, too. And he's got Dragon Claw as well, which is, once again, a bit of a weird choice. But it looks like he is done
coverage.
with his
Surf.
healing up. So let's just
If
go ahead
Aggron's gonna
and
die,
use
it's gonna
Surf,
die.
I suppose. Yep, he is charging Sunlight once again, and he has 1 Full Restore left. We have to be careful.
Wants to
of,
save
but
for later, I
now,
see.
This Aggron is down, and that's all that really matters. What are you going to come at us with next, Steven? What do you got? And I've got to say, Steven is my favorite champion out of any champion in any of the Pokemon games. Hands down. This guy is so
I think
cool.
Dishwater
He's
could
got
kill with
such an awesome
Blizzard,
design.
Grass,
Plus, he uses Steel
Grass
types, which
Rock.
are so
I don't know.
unique from all the other types. Put all this together and put the
I always
fact that he's
forget
a little bit
typings and stuff like
eccentric
that.
On top of that, on top of being super cool and super quiet. I don't know. I love Steven so much more than any other champion in any Pokemon game. And now he's coming at us with Cradilly. Do not let this thing set up. It has Ancient Power, and if it gets an all-stat buff, which Ancient Power has a small chance of doing,
Mega Horn.
you are screwed because this thing will set up Ingrain, and it's super bulky on top of that, so you're not going to have a very good day. But
Ancient
luckily,
Power.
we have got Heretic on our side, who has the powerful Megahorn. Look at this
Megahorn's
animation.
accuracy is in
Look
perfect
at that,
doubt.
turning the whole world red and flying at him with those yellow
It's
yellow
all
streaks around us.
anime.
That, my friend, is super.
That's the power
super
of
intimidating.
anime.
And Heretic is going to be a
Armaldo.
key player.
Quick, bring in a Quilava, and then we'll have a
Gonna
battle
come at us
off
with
screen.
Armaldo,
Wait.
and this is one of the ones that I'm not entirely sure what I want to do about it. It is weak to water, and it doesn't have anything that could kill Dishwater very easily, so I think we're going to go out there with Dishwater. Yeah, that sounds good. That is what we are going to do, because we should be able to kill this thing in 2 hits with a Surf at most. After this,
Perfect
though,
plan.
we've got his 2 most threatening
Grab on
Pokemon,
that.
in my opinion.
Whoops.
So, Dishwater, use that Surf, and get this freaky Godzilla T-Rex.
Metagross and
Wow,
something
off
else.
the field. You're like, he's got like the short little arms, but they're pincers, and he's got
I
the
wish it
weird
was
eyes
Godzilla.
just janking out the side of his head. What is up with that, Armaldo? Get out of here. But next, he is going to send out one of his last 2 Pokemon, which are very, very threatening in their own ways. And he's going to use Claydol, which is... Ah, man, this thing. It's super, super defensive. On top of that, it has both Reflect and Light Screen. If he sets up either of those, we are in big trouble. So, we're going to go out there with Heretic, even though this thing is a Psychic type, because for some reason, it tends to use Earthquake instead of Psychic, no matter what. at least in my experience. So, he's floating around out there, and we can use this
park ground, I think.
Once again. Plus, on top of that, we've got Brick
Also
Break. So if he sets up a Reflect like he just did... Oh, no, we missed with the Mega Horn.
Reflect's great. Mega Horn's physical.
That can be very, very problematic. But you see,
dang.
Going for Earthquake for whatever
Brick Break to break the
Psychic,
thing.
That would be super effective on us. But we can break through this Reflect, take care of that, and then hopefully take this thing out with a Mega Horn this turn. That's the one downside to Mega Horn, is that it only has 85 accuracy. So you can expect...
Imagine the wall shattered, but nothing else happened.
Screen, I'm fine
Didn't reflect again.
For the moment. As long as we hit this,
light screen.
Played all out, that is all right by me. And there we go. We've taken out one
Mega
of the
Horn.
biggest threats on his team, because this thing can
I think
set
it's
up
special.
And just screw the rest of your team completely over.
I like how you knew that before it happened.
Metagross is Steven's final Pokemon, and this thing
one left.
Is nothing to be messed with. One of the coolest Pokemon from Hoenn, definitely. A Steel
Ashley.
Type. It is great all across the board. It is super powerful in the attacking realm. It's super defensive as well.
It had no weaknesses until they decided, oh, Steel's weak to dark now. Steel's not immune to dark anymore.
All of these things. It is reasonably fast on top of that too. So I don't even know what the downside to Metagross is. It's so unfair, man. But what do we want to do here? I really am kind of
send in Ashley, burn it, melt it.
It is reasonably fast, so it'll be faster than Dishwater, Ashley, Heretic, and the Baconator at the very least.
I like how I like the lore of Beldum, and then also like Beldum goes to Metang. It's two Beldums stuck together with some weird thing in the middle. Metagross gets two more Beldums, gets another weird thing in it, and Mega Metagross is literally a Metagross on top of a Metagross. It's like, whoa, this is getting... I don't know what's going on, but this is really freaking intense.
Just gotta go out there with Shock and hope things go our way, I suppose. So
it's like one of those old anime things. You're just like, oh my god, this makes no sense, but I love it.
Oh my god, it looks so intimidating. This thing. You do not want to mess with this. This will give you nightmares for weeks, everybody. So, hit it with the Thunder Wave. Hope it gets paralysis.
It has no gender, so we can't attract it.
All that helpful. And nope, it's using Psychic.
I don't know what that was.
That is the end of Shock. I wouldn't be so worried about this thing if it weren't for the fact that I'm trying to do this without items. Even though...
Thanks, Jock. Take a nice long rest. A crit.
I know. I definitely don't want to do it. Now... the Baconator hasn't seen any action, so
we get to that point.
Send him out there and
Baconator?
Confuse Ray and just see how much that will end up.
So it can die? Confuse Ray?
Body, however. So, as much as I
you can't poison it. Both because
by using Shadow Ball,
I think Steels are immune to poison unless you're using the
So
that one salamander Pokemon that only evolves as a girl because they're sexist, like Vespiquen.
That is the case, but
I hate those mons. Why can't I have a oh, damn it.
Hit him with some other stuff. Who do I want to go out there with?
Metagross broke its confusion.
Well, I want to sort of whittle him down to the point where
Heretic for Brick Break
can take him out, because right
Ashley's
now
fire.
Earthquake will definitely not one-shot this thing. So light screen is still up, so Ashley might not be viable. Let's send out Heretic, break that light screen.
Ashley has the most health and it's fire type. Fair point.
So Brick Break to get rid of the light screen.
And would do a lot of damage. Well, not a lot of damage, but we'll do damage. Oh, good, we're faster.
It's not going to do
then we find out what it broke next turn anyway.
To this Metagross. God, this Pokemon is just so powerful, and it's broken through 2 Parafusions now. Luck is on your side, Steven, and it is not...
Why'd I waste my time?
Today, but we can go
if we could attract it, it would be the biggest pain.
I don't expect to live more than one.
Now the light screen's down. Ashley!
This should get it down to the point where he doesn't want to use a full restore, but where he also will be susceptible to death from an earthquake. And that looks perfect to me. So, Metagross, if you want to hurt yourself, whatever, as long as you don't lose a thing next turn, okay. Broke through 3 Parafusions, but it doesn't even matter because Ashley, you
Earthquake
quite well. Oh my god, you lived? Seriously?
Wait, the last two Oh!
Okay.
I was gonna say the last 2 standing was gonna be Swellowship and Dishwater.
We cannot kill from this range with an earthquake. What do we want to do? What do we want to do? Oh,
that barely did anything.
This could be bad. This could be bad. Okay.
Flamethrower.
So Dishwater can only take like 1 attack from this thing. Right,
it's gonna earthquake again, send in Swellowship. I thought it was gonna be like the original to finish it off.
He's not gonna do like any damage. So and if he
just flamethrower
paralysis with a full restore, we are.
You really have to body slam.
For sure. I suppose we could just go for a body slam. That's pretty much all we can do at this point. It did probably a good 5 HP of damage.
You really want that Earthquake.
And destroy
did
our Ashley,
nothing.
Definitely. But it all comes down to this. If this
Gotcha was useless anyway.
You know what? Okay, your attack rose, I don't even care in the slightest. As long as your defense doesn't raise or anything. I'm going to send out Swellowship.
I see.
And we're going to hit this thing with like an aerial ace. I know it's not going to do very much, but we have to get
aerial
as much
ace it?
damage off it on.
So I'm going to come down to the
as we
starter.
possibly can before we go for that last
Hit Steel Wing.
Ace.
Hey,
All right.
hey, Steven, remember when you gave me
it's
this?
Paralyzed. Awesome, so we can get just a little bit more, whittle it down. Just
Ah,
a tiny
5
bit,
damage.
And then it'll come down
Oh.
to this very, very last attack. So use your Psychic Metagross. Doesn't even matter to me. Take me out. It is time. We get one shot at this. If this doesn't kill it, Steven's going to use a full restore, and this battle is
Take
over.
me
If this
out,
does kill
take
it,
me
we are
out to
truly the
eat, take
strongest
me out, take
Pokemon
me
trainer in
out
the
to
Hoenn region.
eat.
However,
You
we
full
are going
restore
to be ending
yourself.
this battle just as we began the game with our Dishwater, who's been there since the very beginning. So, Earthquake Dishwater, end this battle right now and end Pokemon Emerald. Yes! We did it! We killed the Metagross, and I'm sure that was barely enough to do it. But Dishwater came through in the end and defeated Pokemon Trainer Steven. There we go. We are officially the strongest
And just
trainer
enough to
in
not
the
level
Hoenn
up the
region.
final kick in the nads.
I had no idea you'd become so strong. We got $4,680 for winning, but that doesn't even matter anymore.
And even our level is so much weaker.
Pat's first crossed in Granite Cave in Dewford. I had this feeling. I thought that you would eventually become the champion. My predictions usually come true. And where will you go from here? Even I couldn't tell you that. And that, my friends, is the true end of Pokemon Emerald. That's right, there's nothing cinematic that happens after you defeat
Replaying
Steven
the
for
credits.
final time or anything like that. So here we are, back at the credits that we've already seen one time. But that
Yeah, replaying the
was
credits.
the end of our Pokemon journey in the Hoenn region. And that was the end of a great adventure and what I believe to be a great Let's Play. At the very least, it was so much fun to do. And you guys who have been wondering can definitely expect more Pokemon content on the channel in the future, and even
got all the
in
legendaries
the
this
near
time.
future. And regarding Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, this
Don't
is
know
like
how
my
you're
favorite
replaying credits,
Pokemon
but you
generation
are.
right here. 3rd gen is my jam. It has been my jam since I was a kid, so you can definitely
Same.
expect playthroughs of those.
Pokemon
games.
Sapphire is my
So,
favorite video game of all time.
We just defeated Steven, definitely the coolest champion out of any of them ever, and certainly way cooler than Wallace. Oh my gosh, there's like no competition there, but thank you all so much, so very much for sticking with me throughout this project. I was taking a bit of a gamble with this one, even though Pokemon is a mainstream Nintendo franchise and it had been requested a little bit.
Now we're
I
looping.
had no idea how this was going to go, playing through a really long, detailed RPG, but you guys were there every step of the way, even helping me make teams and stuff like that, and I'm super grateful for it. We would not have had Ashley or her nickname on the team at all whatsoever. I would have gone with the Glalie if it wasn't for you guys. And what the heck? Who uses Glalie?
Yeah, Juan.
No, I'm kidding. Glalie is
I wonder when that would have been.
Pokemon, in my opinion, just not a very
Ash.
not a very useful one. But we wouldn't have had Heretics.
What's funny is I
We wouldn't
use
have had
Glalie on
quite
one of
the
my
adventure that we did have if it wasn't
on one of
for
my
you guys. So thank you all
gimmick
so
teams.
much
I
for
have
your
a
support throughout.
Tauros
I really
Anger
hope you
Point
guys
gimmick
enjoyed this
team
project,
where
because
the
I know that I certainly have. It's been
the
super,
Glalie
super
knows a
fun.
move that guarantees a crit,
And
so I
Pokemon
target the
Emerald
Tauros
is
and
one
the
of my
Anger
favorite
Point
Pokemon
activates.
games, and,
It's
one of my favorite
I've never
generations,
won with it,
because
but I
Hoenn
have
is
made
such a
people
unique
sweat.
breed.
Where
You've got such
even
a
though it's early
variety
connection, you
of
can tell like,
players
okay,
that
it's just a
have
freaking
fun with
Tauros.
this.
I'll just focus on the
Just
Glalie
use
for
the
now.
Fall River Town
Anger Point
Desert.
increases
You've
stats
got
to maximum, and then
Fort
all of a sudden
Cape,
everyone's going
probably one of the
all
coolest
in on the
cities in all of
Tauros.
Pokemon. Pacific Log Town, such cool environment.
It's not a good team, but I have fun with it.
Soundtracks to date. And on top of that, of course, you've got secret bases. I mean, who could argue that? Plus, the character
only works in
designs
double
here. I
battles
love all
for my
the
team.
Pokemon. I love pretty much all the gym leaders, except for Juan. Wallace should definitely be the 8th gym leader. He does serve great as a gym leader, but not so much as the champion. It's got the coolest champion. And honestly, all these things together, along with your guys' support, have made this one of my favorite Let's Plays to do and made it such a fun adventure. So thank you all so much once again for watching. I cannot thank you enough. And I will see you guys in another Let's Play Perhaps in another
What's
Pokemon
funny is when I
game.
started this thing,
But
I checked the
regardless,
playlist, it
I'll
almost had
see you all
100,000 views,
next
and it
time.
finally hit it. Like around halfway through. Same here. Now on to something else. See ya.